Morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music and blessing and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today is May 27th, 2022. It's been a blessing to help create this community with all of you for 2 years plus. Today's Friday. I should be wearing a white shirt, but actually, every once in a while, you forget. So it's beautiful to be together. There's a lot to talk about. It's been a very hard week. So what I want to do is ask us to take some breaths as we welcome each other, as we prepare for Shabbat, as we feel what we feel. Let's give each other the gift of a good morning. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Linda, Boker Tov, yes. We'll come back. Chana, Patricia, Penny, thank you for reminding us it's broadcast 555. And yes, today is a day where you have to pretend that purple is white. This is my disguised white shirt for Shabbat. David, Boker Tov, yes, we could all use some shalom. Sharon and Arlene, good morning. Barry, Ellen, Boker Tov. Carl, Brian, so good to see you. Chana, I like purple too, thank you. Linda and Dale, Judy, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, friend. Today's Torah is dedicated in your honor. Happy birthday, Yom Huledet Sameach. Lisa and Lydia, Roberta, Boker Tov, you're remembering your father Jacob on his 9th yahrzeit. May his memory be for a blessing. Also, let our Torah be in his honor. Ayala, hi. Dina, good morning. Eileen, I'm sending love and comfort to your family. Your mother needs hospice. Sending you strength and resilience. Hospice is holy work, but it is very, very sad. And so sending you the hug that you need and that your family needs. Andy, Natalie, Boker Tov, hi Cheryl, Marilyn, Carolyn, good morning, welcome back. Good to have you here. Linda and Lydia, Boker Tov, friends. Roberta and Stanley, good to see you. Barbara, good to see you too. Hi Tara. Hi Arlene. All right, friends, let's jump right to it. Cynthia, Patty, Heather. Here we go. There's a lot of noise all around, at least around me. People are taking care of the world. I want to honor them by taking a moment and recognizing them. When we first began our broadcasts, I can't imagine you don't hear the noise around me. When we first began the broadcast, I was sitting in another room in my home, right by the window, celebrating the window, and then suddenly people came by in a garbage truck. And I think I remember on the live broadcast I was annoyed. I didn't stop to think about how necessary their work was for the world to continue turning. And for 2.5 years through it all, our world has turned. And I know it sounds strange to say it this way, but garbage has been collected, recycling has been collected. Those holy workers probably never got called essential workers. But what would our world be like if the people who ultimately remain invisible, unfortunately remain invisible in our world, weren't recognized and didn't do their work? So for a moment it was loud, and bless them for making that noise. Okay, here we go. Let's take a breath, sing a bracha. Happy early birthday, Arlene. La 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 la, la 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 la, la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'zivanu. La'asok b'divrei Torah, la'asok b'divrei Torah. לעשות בדברי תורה. תניה לה 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 לה, תניה לה לה לה, תניה לה 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 לה, איה לה לה. So friends, we're getting ready for Shabbat. And again, it's been a hard week. The one person that I haven't mentioned yet is Joe Garcia. And I would really like to dedicate today's learning to his memory. Joe Garcia was a father of 4 in Texas, whose wife was a teacher who was killed in Uvalde. She was one of the 2 teachers who was killed. And just yesterday he had a heart attack, died of a broken heart. And I shared a poem by Yehuda Amichai, and you know what, I'm gonna quickly, with you all here, look it up so that I can recite it to you, because the way for us to understand the impact of gun violence in our world, and really of any trauma, but this week we have a focus, is well described by Yehuda Amichai's poem, The Diameter of the Bomb, and you'll understand why immediately. I'm just going to recite it. It's not very long. It's intense. It's not very long. The diameter of the bomb was 30 centimeters, and the diameter of its effective range about 7 meters. With 4 dead and 11 wounded, and around these, in a larger circle of pain and time, 2 hospitals are scattered and 1 graveyard. But the young woman who was buried in the city she came from at a distance of more than 100 kilometers enlarges the circle considerably. And the solitary man mourning her death at the distant shores of a country far across the sea includes the entire world in the circle. And I won't even mention the crying of orphans that reaches up to the throne of God and beyond, making a circle with no end and no God. Friends, I share this with you not because it is uplifting, but because it is honest. This week we end the book of Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, with the Parsha, with the Torah portion of Bechukotai. And it ends in a haunting way if you listen very closely. Im Bechukotai telechu, I keep on saying this week. If you would only follow my rules, if you follow my rules, things will be good. And how do you know things are good in the ancient world? Rain. Because in a world where nurturing the ground, the sustenance that the earth provides, when that's what you need, that's when you know God is blessing you. When you have what you need, you feel blessed. Now, we live in a world, and my own theology is more complicated than that, where actually bad things do happen to good people. For those looking for an important book to read, Rabbi Harold Kushner's When Bad Things Happen to Good People is an important book where he reflects on the question because of his own life's tragedy. He had a son who had progeria, a rare disease that causes your body to age very quickly. And he and his wife lost their son. And so he didn't say, why do bad things happen to good people? The book is called When Bad Things Happen to Good People. And in fact, this parsha presumes that we will do wrong, but it also presumes that bad things will happen, even when not deserved. Why am I invoking this? Because the Torah makes it sound like there's a cause and effect that goes through heaven. And you might hear it as God sending the bad stuff. God increasing the diameter of the bomb, as it were. And Amichai ends with the circle being so big that the circle has no end and no God. Now, I don't go that far. Amichai's use of Jewish tradition, theology, and text was unmatched. But I have to re-understand the place of human beings. I really do. And again, here are the human beings taking care of our world. If that noise is reaching through my computer into where you are, let's bless the people doing their holy work. They'll pass by slowly, but I'm grateful for them. In this parsha, in this week's parsha, we are told perhaps the most important word is im. Im Bechukotai, if you will follow my rules. And in fact, even though it feels like God is by choice sending blessing or curse, that's actually not the way the Parsha works. In fact, you could take God, as it were, out of the equation. If you do bad, bad will come around. If you do good, good will come around. And that doesn't mean if I do good or say the right prayer, good will come to me or those I'm praying for. That's not what it means. It means by pushing good into the world out of me, out of my body, it creates a better ecosystem. In fact, Chancellor Ismar Shorsh, who was the former chancellor of the Jewish Theological Seminary, my teacher, has a brilliant comment on this week's Torah portion where he basically says, quoting Maimonides, that in fact, the world to come, Messianic days for Maimonides, was where Jews envisioned the ability to just sit and learn. It will feel like Mashiach when we can just sit and learn. And it is a short distance from that sentence to the one I'm about to say. It will feel like the Messiah has come when our children can go to school and come home safe. And we are called to bring the days of Mashiach. This is the end of the book of Leviticus. And whenever we finish a book of the Torah, we say the phrase, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek. Be strong, and together we will be strong. Let me ask you to take some time this Shabbat and think through what kind of strength you can offer. Because without Chazak, Chazak, without your strength and mine, Nit Chazek doesn't happen. Collective strength doesn't happen. Bechukotai, this week's Parsha that we're about to read, is about the collective redemption. It's about the community that is blessed by individual commitments and the community that suffers when we do not make individual commitments. What are the individual commitments that you can make so that we can change the narrative and write a different poem about a circle of blessing where everyone has what they need, and we call that God's blessing? Friends, there's a lot to do. And let me end today's reflection with a quote from perhaps the greatest Rebbe of all, Theodor Geisel, otherwise known as Dr. Seuss. In a book about climate change, where yet again Geisel was ahead of his time, he says at the end, to one little boy who listens to the story, who pays attention to how things got to be the way they are, he says something we each need to hear. And each of us, not one of us, all of us, one at a time, as a collective, concerned community, need to hear these words. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. I want to say that one more time, friends, with tears in my eyes, because I don't know that I've done enough, and I know that we together have not done enough for our children, for our teachers, for our families, for our society. And I am hopeful that you will choose to dig in and do what you can. Add your strength. Bring your chazak, your chozek, your strength, so that you can be mechazek. You can strengthen the world. And not alone, because if you do it alone, it's like Sisyphus pushing a boulder up a hill. It falls back down. But if you have all of us, if we are all pushing together, we will get that stone up that mountain. And our children will be safe. And that'll feel like Mashiach. That'll feel like the Messiah came. One more time, I want to say that quote. It's the same as saying Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. That's the dark way of saying it. This week's Parsha has a tochacha, has the threat of a curse. It's right there. In the English, it's right there too. So take a second, friends. Let Shabbos in. Strengthen yourself so that you can add your strength to the world. Bring your own heart into the work. Invite your neighbors. Invite your children. Invite your parents. Invite your siblings. Invite your partner. Invite your politicians, by which I mean invite. your politicians. Tell your religious leaders, if they haven't been speaking about this, that it is time to take the risk and say something that 90% of Americans know is true, which is we need to make a difference. We need to change things because this gun violence epidemic in America, it's too much. It's too much. One last time, Dr. Seuss's Torah. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. And I believe it will, because you're going to make the decision today to get involved. Find the organization, find your leaders, demand action so that we can save our children. I know that sounds drastic, but isn't it? Pay attention longer than you paid attention to last time, and stay shocked in the God forbid. Do not become used to this. Do not become numb. Do not accept this as normal. It's not. It's not how the Torah sees the world. It's not how you should see the world. Not how I see the world. And our community cannot allow it to be how we begin to see the world. We need to be the ones who bring the change we wish to see. I know you're in this. Self-selected. You showed up. Thank God for you. Do more than you did yesterday. Get angrier than you were. Not sadder. Sadness has its place. Channel that sadness into action, friends. I'm going to sing our way into Shabbat, because we shouldn't miss Shabbat. We need it. We need it more than ever. See you on Monday. Shabbat Shalom, friends. See you on Monday. Take care.